Everyone, welcome to the Glow Up Girl podcast. I am Kyra Mitchell Lewis, and thank you all for joining. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope you all are having a great week. So, today we are back at it with our career series, and today we're going to be talking about 5 questions you should ask yourself if you're considering a career change, even if you are afraid to take the leap. But before we go there, let's just start. Let's talk about our last episode. So, last time we talked about the difference between being a gap filler and a leader. And if you find yourself in that gap filler role, ways that you can transition from the gap filler life to the leader life. So let's do a quick recap. What is a gap filler? So for anybody out there who you're coming into this episode and you did not hear the last career episode, this is for you and just a refresher for everyone who has already listened. All right, so a gap filler is someone who always steps in to help, someone who identifies gaps within a team, programs, projects, etc. And then that person really works to provide solutions for them. Now, this person, who is this person? You might say, now, who is this gap filler? So this person is someone who is usually a top performer on the team, someone who has an achiever personality, and someone who is dependable and really genuinely, truly cares about not only, their work, but also the team and the company. I believe a gap filler's motives are pure and that they are just really doing the things that they feel like are best for the team and the company. Now, what often happens to our dear friends, the gap fillers, and I say this with love because I'm a recovering gap filler. A gap filler often tends to think that they will be rewarded based on the merit of their work. So a lot of times those people they're not as vocal about, well, here are all the things that I've done to help the team, over the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever. They really depend on those in leadership to sort of see them, almost like you see this is happening. You see the work I'm doing. I'm giving you these updates in my one-on-one, but you really have to sort of take a step back and think about the fact that your manager could be, extremely busy. If you're busy, your manager is always working at a level higher than you, and they are 9 out of 10 times super busy and they have a lot to do. And they may have gaps where they miss some of those contributions that you are making. So what we talked about in the last episode is I gave you some steps that you could take to work towards in preparation of a meeting with your manager. So let's talk about those. We'll go through them quickly. So one was think like a visionary. It's just that. Think strategic, think higher, think long-term strategies versus short-term fixes. 2, self-development. Always be working on yourself. Always be working on ways that you can improve and be a better version of yourself. 3, set and reach your goals. So if you've set some goals, if you've got goals, set those goals. Usually there's SMART goals in the workplace, but reach those goals and keep records of the goals that you've met. 4, be an active learner and listener. Active listening is just such a blessing for people that actually take the time to actively listen to what someone is saying before you're formulating that response or that oh yeah, I'm going to tell you what you're thinking or what you need before you finish the statement. And then also just be curious about the world around you, about your role, about your department, your team, your industry, and always be learning. 5, seek out leadership opportunities. So there may be some opportunities that you may say, there's a project that I'd like to lead, or there's this process that we need to put into place. And I'd actually like to really play the part of bringing that to life, to putting that together. And then last, just really ask for feedback along the way. So by the time you get to a place of having a conversation with your manager, you're already getting that feedback, that sort of, it could be good, it could be constructive, it could be, oh no, actually you're doing all the right things, you're doing a fantastic job, keep doing what you're doing. But I think it's just always really good along the way to just get more of that active feedback. All right. So if you missed this episode, that episode or the previous episode, you can always go back and listen and get all the goodies. Just like you're listening today, you can find these. Just check in the list. You'll see the career series and you can listen to those. All right. So our topic today is all about I might need to consider a career change, but I'm not sure, maybe. I also think these are questions you can ask yourself if you are considering a career change, even if you are fearful of making that jump, taking that leap. But these are just some things to start considering. All right, so you may be in a job, a career, a workplace, and you feel like, these things happen. Everyone hits a slump at some point at work where you feel either like you're not growing anymore, you're not, you're not able to elevate up to, you don't know what the career path looks like for you. You just may not be interested. Maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, I can do this job with my eyes closed now. Like I'd rather move to something that feels like more of a challenge. Or sometimes, maybe you just need something different. And that's all right. That's definitely okay. I think we all go through points in our careers, in our jobs but you have to determine, are these sort of short-term feelings, or is this a lingering thing that keeps coming up, that keeps happening? So let's say the first question we want to ask ourselves is, are you thinking long term, or is this an emotionally fueled decision? So I ask you that question, my friends, because that's the first thing that comes up whenever we're in a job, we're in a workplace, and someone said, we start to complain about the current situation. And someone is like, oh, maybe it's just like, have you exhausted all the possibilities, all the opportunities? Is this something that, maybe you could have a conversation with your manager about? Is this something you could talk to HR about if you're not finding that you're getting anywhere, with the conversation with your manager? Because I always say, the courtesy, unless your manager is like a terrible person and you try to talk to them and you see that talking to them is like not getting you anywhere, I would say that I would always have the courtesy of speaking to my manager first so that they can understand and they are aware of what you are feeling and where you're coming from. Then that way, like I am a proponent of being transparent, because I don't want when I come to you and say that I'm leaving for there to be surprise. I leave no room for error at this stage of my career. I am also more senior in my career and have worked for a while now. So I've gone through those things. And those are some things, honestly, as I was younger and I was like, moving from a different job to another job that, I wish that maybe I would have had more of those conversations with my manager, so that they weren't necessarily blindsided. Now, if you've had all the conversations and they still act like they're shocked and surprised, I mean, that's a problem for them. So ask yourself, is this a long-term thing? I don't see this working out. I've had a conversation with my manager, I've gone to HR. I'm just not finding purpose in this work. It does not align to my core values. Those are the types of things of thinking like long term. I don't see for what I want in my career. I don't see myself. There's no roadmap here for me to get to that level. Say you are a coordinator today and you ultimately would like to be, how do I get to just say a senior manager level? It is, between you and your manager should have helped you to figure out. So from a coordinator to maybe an assistant manager, you're going to need to accomplish these things and be doing this well in order for us to elevate you. And then so on and so on. So if you don't have any particular type roadmap of what your career path looks like, you've tried to talk about it, I don't think that those are emotionally fueled. That's not an emotionally fueled decision. That's a smart decision to perhaps look at a different job. Now, when we think about I'm not finding purpose in this career, it's a similar thing. It's trying to figure out, get with a career coach, get with a mentor to talk about what are those things that you feel are strengths. What are the types of core values you're looking for in a company or in the industry? What industries really fuel you? What do you get really excited about? So I think, when you're thinking about like a job change versus like a career change, those are some things to consider. Number 2, are you only thinking about the money? So we all want to be compensated well for the work that we do. So I definitely think I won't sit here and tell you that, you shouldn't make a decision based on, a financial need, because I don't know your financial situations. And I have personally left jobs because, there was a better financial incentive. And also, it was just time to go. There was probably 2 jobs ago, I left a job that I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the team that I managed and led, but I had some issues with the leadership. And also I had some issues with the money for the work that I was doing, the outputs that I was putting out. My salary did not align to, the salaries of people doing work similar to mine. So like I'd gone and I'd done the research online to look at people who were doing work similar to mine. And I saw that my salary was like way below that median. And so I wouldn't say that's sort of like a decision, based on money. And my puppy has joined this conversation today. So if you see me leaning over a little bit, it's just because Max Bailey Lewis has joined the career discussion today with us. So I would definitely say that you don't want to make like all the decisions based on money, especially if you are in a place that you like. And again, I think it's about having discussions, with your manager to talk about what it is you need, the work that you're doing. And especially if you find yourself in a situation where the outputs of what you are contributing are greater than the salary in which you are receiving, I definitely think that, do your research, put together something and get with your manager on that. And if you see that you get nowhere, then you have done the work. You've done the due diligence. That's all I'm saying, but sometimes jobs come around where they are just, the money is just a really big contributing factor because it's like a lot larger than the salary you make and you want to take that leap. So, go for it. All right. The third thing to consider when considering a career change is, are my skills and training transferable? So I say that because I think a lot of times when we are considering transitioning to a different job or career, we often think that, okay, I didn't go to school for that. I don't have a degree in this. I don't have, experience. But I think a lot of times you have to try to look at the skills that you have that might be transferable. So I'm going to say, I use myself as an example. So I have managed throughout my career. Obviously, I've done marketing. I'm a marketer. I have managed marketers, but I've also managed, designers. I do manage designers today. I manage videographers and photographers, and I'm not trained in any of those areas, but I have transferable skills as it relates to marketing and strategy and being able to sort of, understand a like full picture of understanding like that full picture of like a concept and bringing a marketing campaign to life. And so I have skills that are transferable that help me to be able to, that enable me to be able to manage people in areas that are not areas that I have exact experience in. So I think that when you are considering transferring or transitioning to a different role, you'd want to like write out a list of sort of your like functional area talents and skills, and then maybe ones that are more like leadership based, more of those skills, because those skills go a long way in the workplace as well. So I don't want anybody out there listening or watching for you ever feel like something is like, I can't do it. Now, of course, if you are a marketer and you start looking at medical, I'm going to go be a doctor. Like, all right, so that doesn't make sense. But you may find something that's more of a corporate position that can align to some of the skills that you have if you want to work in the medical industry, if that makes sense. All right. Excuse me. All right. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. The fourth thing is, do you know what you want? What do you really want to do? What brings you joy? I think that's a really, really, really super important question to ask yourself. So say you have answered the question of, I am thinking long term. It is time for me to make a change. I'm not driven by money, but the decision isn't driven by like a financial need, but added salary would be nice. I have looked at my skills and I know these are the applicable skills that I have that could apply to any industry, any job. And, and then here are some that are specialized in the areas in which I've worked. And now you have to ask yourself, if I'm going to make this leap, I'm going to transition to a different job or career. What do I want? What fuels me? What am I passionate about? So you can ask yourself, so if you're someone, I love beauty products, I love entertainment and media. So, I had asked myself like, oh my gosh, I'm really driven by those things. You may say, I really enjoy science. I love science. I love research. I'm going to look in those areas. I think it's important when we decide to make a really big change in our careers that we look at things that bring us joy. And I think more so now than ever in our lives, we are coming, still coming out on the other end of the pandemic and being more of like living in the pandemic, in the endemic stage. And I think it's really important, that I think a lot of people decided that you wanted something that brought you joy. You wanted to give your time and your energy to things that you feel are purposeful, things that you feel are going to help you make a change, help you make, bring change to the world, help you make the world a better place. So I think it's really important for you to ask yourself, and I would say of all the questions, to maybe spend a lot of time there, because this is the thing most connected to you as a person, your core values, your heart, and the thing that is going to fuel you and drive you, because you can switch careers and or jobs and go somewhere else. And, and you may go there because, it's a better culture than the one you're a part of. It's better work-life balance. It's, better money. But ultimately, I think that, if it doesn't fuel your spirit, it doesn't fuel your passions, I mean, you're probably going to find yourself still like having that empty space where you need to find something that brings you joy. And I know you might be saying, Kyra, we have to work. We have to take care of ourselves, our families, and we can't all find joy, the work that brings us amidst joy every day. And I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm right there with you. But I think it's just important. So, to try to just, at least map it out, put it on paper so that you can manage your expectations as you begin a search for the next thing. All right. Now, the fifth thing is all really ties to all these things. Have you done all of the research on the new career opportunity? If it's in different industry, if it's doing something completely different, or you're in the same industry but you're just transitioning to a different job, have you done all the research? Have you looked at the company? Have you looked at companies in that industry to see like who's doing what new innovations are are in that industry? What companies are direct competitors to maybe, one that you're considering? What are the top companies in that, in that area in which you're looking? And then also, is it sustainable? I mean, kind of goes back to the joy question. Is it something that you think is going to bring you long-term happiness? And now if you're at the end of it, you're like, you know what, I'm okay with, just making a move today. And then maybe I have to make a move, like a year from now. Hey, I am of the mindset, I did grow up in the era of people, staying in jobs for like long periods of time, and staying at jobs because it looks good on your resume. And even when I would interview with people, like my first job was at an agency, and I stayed there I actually interned there when I was at the end of my like college career, and they hired me on, and then I worked there for a year. And actually, I was someone that worked at the agency with me, had gone to a corporate company, and they actually recommended me for a marketing coordinator position there. So I, went through an interview process, and I ended up staying at that company for 11 years. And I remember when I was interviewing for the job that I would ultimately leave that position for. And, and some of the people who probably were more in the era of like, in my generation, oh, wow, like you're really loyal, you've stayed there. A lot of people don't stay at jobs. And, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I mean, but is that like a great thing? Is that really like something, then you think like, why did I stay? But I say all that to say to you that it's okay, if a season for a job is a year, if a season in a job is 6 months, if a season in a job, unfortunately, is 3, or if it's 5 years or 10 years. I mean, it's whatever you feel for yourself is sustainable. Because if you get, sometimes you may not know going into a new opportunity if it's going to be sustainable or not, because you haven't tried it yet. And so you may get there, and then you may say to yourself, like, I don't think so. You may say, like, that ain't it, sis. And that's okay. It's okay to start making a plan, to figure out what does the next season of your life look like. Because I feel like, I believe that, you have seasons of opportunity, seasons of change, and it's okay. And I think giving yourself that grace to find what makes you happy is important as well. So I think a lot of things, don't get caught up in the old way of thinking that, you have to be in this place for this really long amount of time. And if you decide that that's not for you, then you've done something wrong. I think it's definitely okay. All right. So our key takeaways. If you are feeling that you're in a place where you have exhausted all the opportunities at your current job or in the career that you're in today, and you recognize that it's not just a slump, that it's time for you to pivot, it is time to transition out to do something different, it is okay. I just leave you with these 5 questions to ask yourself if you're considering a career change, even if you feel fearful of taking that leap. One is, are you thinking long-term or is this emotionally fueled? 2, are you thinking about the financial incentive? Is it being driven by financial needs? 3, are your skills and training transferable? What skills, ask yourself, what skills are transferable to either the industry, the function, or just from a leadership perspective? 4, do you know what you want? Have you mapped out what it is you really want to do, and think about what brings purpose to you, what brings you joy, and what fuels your passions? And then lastly, have you done all the research on this new career opportunity? And is it sustainable? With the caveat that the sustainability part may not come until you're actually doing the work or you've made a step to something new. Okay. Well, that was fun. I love that. I love these episodes where I get to just chat freely with you about career and everything. So, if you've got some topics that you would like for me to cover here, please send me an email at hello@glowupgirl.com. We'd love to hear from you, or even if you just have thoughts on this episode, or anything like that, I would love to hear from you. So remember, you can head over if you've missed any of the previous episodes of this career series, or just my other bi-weekly episodes of amazing guests that I get to interview, who are always here to talk to you about business, career as well, entrepreneurship, and giving you really practical tools and tips. You can head over to glowupgirl.com. You can check our YouTube out. Go on over there and become a subscriber. You can watch this episode in the event you're listening now and you want to see me and all of my many hand movements, gestures. I am animated. I do talk with my hands. I always thought I wouldn't be a person talk with my hands, but I do. Even when I try to hold them down, I'm just still like this. And you'd have to watch that to see what this was. But you can head over to YouTube to watch, or you can just listen on your favorite podcast platform. Now, if you are hearing these stories that I share with you bi-weekly, and this seems to be resonating with you, and you're at a place in your career where you're you know what, that Kyra, she makes a lot of sense. I might be looking for, some help with my career. I might be ready to elevate in my current career. I might be looking for purpose, or not really sure if this is it, or I might be ready to pivot to something new. Then I'm here to help you. I have a fantastic quiz. It is only 6 questions. It's called, Is It Time for a Career Change? Even if you're afraid to take the leap. And you can find that quiz at glowupgirl.com. It's actually going to pop up as soon as you go to the page. It's only 6 questions. Like I said, I designed this quiz to help you come to one of 3 things. 1, I'm happy in my career. I'm finding purpose. Let's elevate. Tell me how I can get to that next level. 2, I'm just okay. I'm not really sure that I'm finding the purpose, not feeling the passions. I don't know that I want to elevate here. Or 3, nope, it is time for me to pivot. I need to do something. No joy or purpose lives here, Kyra. So once you take that quiz, let's chat. I'd love to have a 15-minute chat with you so we can discuss how I can help you. I have a framework of really starting with discovering your strengths. I think that's so important in your career, is figuring out what are the things that you're really good at, because I think that can help you to figure out the right career, the right type of job, the right industry of where you need to work. Ultimately, this whole exercise is really about helping you to create a career you love. So, we start out with a strengths assessment, and then we work together in a session to build out a career framework of, what are the strengths? How can we apply them? What are the goals that we want to set for you, and how can you meet them? And then you would get monthly sessions with me, and also some private Voxer calls, and then you become a part of our community here at Glow Getter Coaching, and we will set you up in the community with other women just like you, and we will have a place to chat, some accountability there as well, because without accountability, you're not usually going to find success. That's what I always say. But it's a 4-month program, to start. And so I would love to chat with you about that after you take that quiz. So take the quiz. It's fun. It's a lot. It's really cute. This, like I said, this chat today has been great with you. I can't wait to come back for more. You can, like I said, you can listen to the previous episodes or any of the podcasts, the standard Glow Up Girl interviews as well, on glowupgirl.com or your favorite podcast platform or our YouTube channel. And again, if you'd love to email me, I'd love for you to send me emails about your thoughts on the shows or any topics at hello@glowupgirl.com. As always, I thank you so much for all of your support. The next time we get together, I think we're going to talk about how to manage up. I actually dropped this one in over some other topics that I had coming up, because I've been talking to some friends that, and this topic just came to mind where I was like, let's do a discussion on how to manage up. So I think that's what we're going to cover the next week, unless something hits me in between the next week as I'm planning for this episode. That's where we're going to be, friends. So as always, thank you all so much for the support. I can take my glasses off now, because now I don't have to read, because I tell you, without the glasses, it's a little blurry out there. It's a little blurry. But as always, thank you all so much for the support. And until next time, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.